right. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:04. Nancy, would you like to do the invocation for us?
Father God, we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask your peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray, as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We declare this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Sandy, could you read the roll, please?
Councilmember Moldy.
Here.
Councilwoman Schaefer. Here. Councilman Gray.
Here.
Councilwoman Mora. Yeah, here. Supervisor Esposito.
Present. Also present is our attorney, Gerard Parisi. Okay. Princetown Railroad Town Board meeting is called to order at 7:05. Privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into a discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the portion of the meeting referred to as council member comments. Privilege of the floor is opened up at 7:06.
I would like to share something since I have another
Could
meeting.
you state your name so he knows?
David Geisinger speaking, from Chairman of PIAC. I need to share something because I have another meeting to get to at 7:30 tonight in downtown Schenectady. I wanted to share with the town board and anybody in the audience who's interested a summary of the PIAC for the past year. This is the annual report. I'll do a copy to Sandy and a copy for each town board member. Just pass it down, please. So, over the past year, we've had 7 meetings of PIAC, and our primary activity has been the recycle day that was accomplished on the last Saturday in April. And it was a very cold day with even some sleet in the air, but 66 people showed up to take advantage of it. We passed out over 600 bushes and trees, and would have passed out another 100, 150 more if we'd had them. And we took in metal recycling and tires, and there were environmental displays inside the foyer here and outside. So it was a successful event. PIAC was created by Town Board Resolution number 1 in June of 1975, and it's the Princetown Environmental Advisory Committee. It's been operating ever since. I'm choosing to provide this annual report to the town board at this time of year, June, because of our having Recycle Day in April, last Saturday in April. It just seemed like a good time to do it since the Recycle Day is one of our major activities at PIAC. So there's 5 of us on the board, on the PIAC committee, and we're appointed by the town board for designated terms. Like I mentioned a moment ago, we had 7 meetings this past year. Our annual Recycle Day event took place in the last Saturday in April. Took a lot of planning and energy, and I have a report here about that in the report. So, are there any questions? If there aren't, I'll just pass this out to anybody who's in the audience who would be interested in knowing about PIAC itself. Okay, you want one, Jack? Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, yeah. Anybody else? Yep. Oh.
Thank you.
And, yeah, there you go. Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry I passed out the last one. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you all, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave?
No.
Thank you. I'm going to excuse myself.
Dave,
Thank
could
you,
you stick
thank you very
around?
much.
Dave, could you stick around for a couple of minutes?
Oh, sure, sure.
Until, we'll get to what, so you can be present when this goes on. Any others? Paul?
Paul Hasbrook, Gifford Church Road. I'm trying to make this quick as I can. Wasn't planning on saying anything, but came up again tonight. Thank you for letting me bring this up. I have, Louis and I have spoken about this before, what I consider to be a public safety issue that's continuing to escalate on Gifford Church and Penguin Road, and I believe Darrell Road also, with the truck traffic. Again, I watched a truck just come down the hill just before I came here at about 60 miles an hour, slide past Penguin Road, squealing brakes, back up in traffic.
I saw the same guy.
Did you?
I just did, yes.
Blow his way through,
Yeah.
okay. Blowing the stop sign at the end of Penguin Road, they don't even slow down anymore, okay? I know what the issue is. The issue is GPS is sending these people past, probably most of them from Voorheesville Industrial Park. The other issue is, I spoke with Brian McGarry this morning from Schenectady County Legislature. And I had sent a couple emails. I guess they've had a problem with their server down there. It's been hacked, broke down. I never got a response. Anyway, he's bringing the issue up at the county legislature. I've talked to Schenectady County, the engineering department. They say they can't do anything. I know it's been brought up with the town board, and basically I'm bringing the information because I really want to get a petition for everybody up and down Penguin Road. I drive part-time for Wake Tours. I've been all over the Northeast in the last number of years, and it has been brought to my attention, and I know that it can be done. Restricted GPS alerts can be put on GPS to keep them out of residential areas. We continue to add more houses on this road. There is no commercial business. There's really no reason for them to be going through there. And it may not ever be able to be taken care of, but I'm gonna make a try at it because somebody is gonna get killed. I'm absolutely sure somebody's gonna get killed. And I would request, if possible, that maybe the town board or someone could ask the sheriff's department. All they gotta do is set up in my driveway and you're gonna be able to finance the town in about a matter of a week for people blowing the stop sign and going up Gifford Church Road at 90 miles an hour in traffic fines. But anyway, I'm bringing it to your attention because I think it's time we attempt to do something to try and reroute this traffic. And I don't think I'm the only one that's seeing this happen.
They go buy money house 24 hours a day.
Yes, the quantity of
Tractor
trucks is
trailer.
beyond belief. This is within the last 5 or 6 years. And I also happen to believe if they built another truck stop, that it would probably relieve a lot of the issues that we have on Route 7 here. That's another dangerous situation that I know we've tried repeatedly, but if we could just get them to go down 158 to Route 7 and come over, but I don't know how you can do it other than trying to get GPS to change the routing and make it an alert. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Any other questions for Paul? Okay, any others? Okay, and we'll close privilege of the floor up at 7:13. All right, since Dave's gonna be leaving here pretty shortly over here, I'd like him to be present when we discuss this. As you can see on the agenda, we'll skip down to resolution number 19. We have been in contact with the Schenectady County over the last 6 months. They've been, as you know, they have purchased all of the land next to the town hall. They, after sitting at a meeting with them, they have decided that they were gonna purchase it from the landowner, the previous landowner, and they are going to split it up. The land behind the sheriff's department they're gonna use for a dog kennel, the property, a little bit on the left side of it that's in Rotterdam is gonna be used for extra parking for the sheriff's department. and the rest of the land is going to be deeded to the town of Princetown.
Very nice.
And this is pretty big. Since the town hall was constructed back in 2001, it's been talked about. The people who were here back in 2001 can tell you that that it was always talked about maybe having a park there or some kind of recreational area. And we've never had the monies to purchase it, and I think this is, the county giving us this land is a real big deal, and I don't know if we can ever see a small park or anything like that here, because we certainly don't have the funds to do it now. But just being able to acquire the land and not having anything else go in next to the town hall is certainly beneficial to the town. And I know that the purchase price of that land next door was extremely high. So we've got to thank the chairman of the county legislature, Tony Jasinski, and the Schenectady County for this gift that they've gifted to the town of Princetown. And I think maybe we should write a letter to them and thank them for this donation to the town. I think it's a really, this is really something that they have decided to do this. I'm very, very pleased with it. And like I said, maybe someday it can be used for recreational purposes, but now it's going to be deeded to the town. Pending the passage of this resolution, they have to have their resolution. They already have it divided up. And if anybody wants copies of the map, how it's going to be, I think there's almost, what is it, almost 2 acres there, Gerard? There's almost 2 acres there, so that's quite a big deal to the town of Princetown. So I'll just say, is there any questions there? I usually don't do that, but is there any questions from the audience on this?
I'm sure everybody remembers when we had the Vietnam Memorial Wall come in, and we needed that property to put the wall on, and we had to negotiate with private owner, and while he cooperated with us and was good with us, you know, it was something that wall could have been prevented had he decided he didn't want to participate or anything of that nature. So now we own it. It's a big difference.
I think it certainly would be nice to send a letter to him also. I mean, I'm sure he benefited financially from the sale of it, but a thank you from the town to him. He didn't have to sell it to Schenectady either, probably. He could have sold it to some developer for something else, so probably wouldn't hurt some letter to him.
It's a good idea.
And it should definitely be in the paper when it's finalized. I think
Yeah.
this is a positive thing, and we don't see a lot of positive in the paper. And I think it would be nice, once it's finalized, you know, to that it be put in the paper and that we publicly thank the county and what a nice thing it was for the county to do for our town.
And thank you guys, that's hard work, that takes a lot. Our board should be commended too.
The chairman is, Tony has said that he'd like to come up and present the deeds to the town board. And someday, that after the resolution is given to the county, that we're going to accept it, and he'd like to come up and meet with the town board to present the deeds to us. So I don't know when that'll be. He hasn't said yet, but he has to get the resolution. So I just wanted, Dave, I know you
Thank you.
were going to be leaving us, so
Yeah, thank you.
I just thought while you were still here.
I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll go back. Department committee reports. Nick?
The biggest issue we got here is with Rooter Drive. It's been costing the town a lot of money since it was put there, and it never quits. Right now, we just got, if we want to correct the problem we got there, the county wants $26,000 to correct it. It's putting ditches on the side and doing things. And Louis, and Doug, and myself met with the county, and we all put our heads together and decided what had to be done. And I think things are going to be changed now. I don't know. Because the fellow that called originally to do it is changing the whole setup of what he's going to do. So it might create a problem for us. He's going to cut it all down and put a ditch right through a different spot of where it is right now, which might create a drain-off problem and ruin our ditch that the county's gonna do. The county is gonna clean the ditch out, clean all our storm sewers, and put rubble and riprap in the ditch so it stays nice, you know?
What's the problem
What's the problem?
with the road? What's happening with the road?
The water's coming out of the retention area, was going through the property of the fellow in the corner, and he complained
Yeah,
that it's creating a problem for him. And we checked it out, and that is all his responsibility, that is going on his property. And the only place that comes on our property is like 15 or 20 feet off of our Reuter Drive. And the water is washing away the bank on Reuter Drive, and eventually it'll be washing right into the road. This is
so
what our
the
problem is.
storm drains, I'm sorry, the storm drains aren't working properly because they're all up both sides of the road, right?
Well, the storm drains are, we're gonna have them, they're gonna clean them for us, and they fill up with sand.
Right.
And Reuter Drive has always been a big expense to us with sand, softening it in the winter and everything else about it, and it still goes on. Now, the county suggested that we clean out the retention area. And it'll help a lot. When a big storm comes, it'll hold more water before it goes down the road, down to the property next door on the corner. So this is what we're up against now, and I'm gonna go in there and clean the ditch out. And then Louis suggested there was what they told me, they want a fence up, correct, Lou?
Well, the town owns that retention pond, and the developer was supposed to put a fence around it. As you all know, it's supposed to be fenced in, and he never did. If somebody gets hurt in there, it's gonna be the town's responsibility. So we're gonna have to put a fence around it
After we
Nick
clean
cleans
it out, and that's another expense, but like I said to Lou, let's put a cheap fence in, you know, put an expensive fence, just a barbed wire fence or something, you know?
Well, I don't think it would be about, just a regular fence
Yeah.
would do it, but as Doug has said before, the ditch that's coming out there, that retention pond, and the water is running onto his land, and the ditch comes down, and it's got a bend in it, and it's washing out, and now it's gonna run out onto the road eventually, and I
It
don't.
goes right across my property.
Yeah, it's been a problem throughout the years, I guess, over here, and ever since they put this development in up there, the water is coming down through now, and it's eroding his property. And this is what the county suggested to do it. Doug and Nick have been in that business for, I don't know, all your lives, so they know more about it than I do to correct it, but according to the county, they've come up with an idea and what they can do on that bend on it to solve the problem. The problem is the county doesn't have the equipment to get in there to do it properly. I don't know what they needed, Doug, to do that, a special
The
machine.
thing is, you gotta get a track hoe, cause you can't do it with with the equipment they got. They gotta get a track hoe and walk up the ditch, clean it out. But the problem is where it comes out of his property, he put a culvert pipe in. And the
Okay.
end's all plugged up, and the water's not going in the pipe. It's running over the top of the ground. It's all plugged. So now he's gonna take it out.
The landowner put a culvert pipe in on his own property or
Yes,
on our property?
on his own property.
Does it have something to do with the outlet of that storm lot? Well, then, that's
his problem.
a problem.
Well, the bend there where the ditch is, that's his problem. He said he's gonna correct that, but the bend in the ditch that goes out by the road is eroding. And the county says that we have to put, well, their suggestion is, what kind of rubble are we putting in?
You gotta put heavy riprap.
Right, like we did down here at the creek. Yeah.
Well, the problem is that we might just hold off and see what he's gonna do. Because our plan was to leave it the way it is, and he was gonna put riprap in his ditch and take his pipe out. His pipe is holding it's plugged up. He put a pipe in about 25, 30 feet long.
No, more than that.
More? Well, and that pipe's all plugged, it isn't working, and the water's going under. And his big complaint when he came here a few months ago or so was
Pipe's going down.
water was coming out of his grass. So it's all shale underneath the clay. So where he plugged it, the water's going down under the pipe and coming out on his lawn. But if he would redig the ditch and leave it open, the water would run through like it used to be. So this is what the problem is. So, I don't know, my suggestion is we see what he's gonna do on his land before we go through any expense of doing anything, paying the county. Now, they want $26,000 for correcting what we talked about, which is, it's not a bad price, I thought, because they're gonna put riprap in it, they're gonna dig the ditch, they're gonna clean our storm sewers.
Just up to his property.
Up to his property. Right now, if he changes that, he's gonna have water coming out of his property at a different place. And we're gonna have a problem with all the dirt that he's gonna create from doing it over again, that's gonna go into our road. So, then he's gonna have to be responsible for fixing our road. That's the way it's gonna end up. So, we're gonna have to approach him and tell him this. If he's gonna change everything that's going on already, it's gonna make a big difference in our work too, with the county. So he's gonna have to be responsible for anything that any problem he creates.
And 26,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but the reality is, it's something that we did not budget for, so in a small town like Princetown with no town tax, $26,000 is a lot of money, and we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna come up with that. We'll do it if we have to do it, but, we have no town tax, we have no intentions of having a town tax, so, that amount of money will be.
Can you stage the project too? Start with cleaning out the storm part of it, and then do
Nick would
another
know that,
piece
I know.
another year, like, you can probably lay it out in stages too.
They're gonna clean the culverts are all plugged. The pipes are all plugged from the top of the hill to the
Right.
Pangburn Road.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this $26,000 a Band-Aid?
I didn't hear.
A Band-Aid.
Is this a
Band-Aid?
Band-Aid?
Oh, no,
You
no.
guys know, I mean, is this a
No, this
Band-Aid?
is-
We're
You
gonna
gotta
be doing
clean the
this 5
pipes,
years
you
from
gotta
now?
clean the pipes on the road.
Right.
Okay.
And in fairness to the county really does work well with us. If we're paying them 26,000, the value is there. They're very, very good with us. And we've been very happy with the work they've done for us, and that isn't the issue. We're not questioning the amount, we're
Well, I'm not
questioning.
questioning that, but I mean, the road was built up the middle of a damn creek bed. It shouldn't have been there to begin with, but this is the issue that we've got now. No matter what we do, is it always gonna be a Band-Aid, or is there a long-term
No, no,
fix? that we do?
this'll correct it, if they put that, whatever, what you call
Riprap.
The riprap in?
Riprap.
it?
Okay.
Riprap around it.
Do you
There
know
was
the-
riprap in there, it's all gone.
It's probably all
It was
washed
a
out.
washed out.
It's in Doug's yard. You got riprap in your front yard?
Yeah.
It's down in the ditch.
When was the last time those were cleaned?
4 years ago, wasn't it? But it wasn't, they weren't all
No,
done.
he only
They've
did-
never been done all the way up to the end.
They did half of it.
Part of them were cleaned when I was in office,
Yeah,
and
that
that was
was-
almost 10 years ago.
The thing is, it comes down Reuter Drive from the top down,
Right.
and then it goes in the detention pond. From the detention pond down is what's plugged.
That's second level,
Yeah.
from where the plateau is. it goes down.
And that's where the owner put a culvert pipe in and gave himself access, is that correct? So if he hadn't done that, would we have this issue?
Yes. You still have that bend, there would be a problem there. You don't think so?
Would've
That's the
It
issue.
would've washed out, it would've kept running, probably washed through.
So if he has something obstructing our outlet, can't we make him remove it?
Well, this is what we're planning on. Like, right now, I think they will get a hold of the county and have them clean the storm sewers out. And if he
The storm
creates a
sewers
problem
are
and plugs them
full.
up again, he's gonna have to be responsible. Now, every time something happens on Reuter Drive, I've got a written statement from the people. There was a house built up there. They put a driveway in. And he signed a paper saying that any problem that he created on the road, he would be responsible to correct it. Luckily, he did a pretty good job on that, and we had no problem with it, you know?
Frost did that.
Frost did, he did a good job, yeah.
He just put a
So-
culvert pipe.
But anytime something goes on Reuter Drive, we've gotta watch it because it creates a problem. It costs us money every time. We did solve the problem with us salting it. We redid a couple of the catch basins. Do you remember that? So that solved that salt problem. although it depends on the kind of winter we get too, but the water was running where it was supposed to. Once we did, we put another drain in. So this is all, we'll wait and see what happens, but I think that we could let them clean out the storm sewers at least,
Yeah.
and just hold it there. And then if they get plugged up again after this fella does all his work, he's gonna be responsible for it. So we're gonna have to get a statement from him saying that if he creates a problem with what he's doing, he's gonna have to correct it and have him sign it.
I'm just wondering, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but is it enough to warrant that it needs like planning board approval? You can't just go, build sheds and things. I don't know what he's doing with the property, but it sounds like he's doing something
No,
relatively substantial.
We don't really know what he's got in mind, but, thinking about what he's talking about,
Yeah, maybe you should be coming to a planning board.
If he's doing something.
he's gonna bulldoze the whole place, take out like, 6 or 7 feet of dirt, right, Doug? Is that what you were saying?
That's
So-
what he told me.
Once you do that, this happened before on that road where when it rains, the water takes all the sand and dirt and brings it right down on that road.
Everybody on that road has cleaned all the trees off and everything. That's why the mud's in the culvert pipes.
That was what happened.
The
back
mud
ways,
was
yeah.
coming down the whole thing. There was mud in the road.
Well, we had him correct his problem there, but he didn't correct the storm sewer.
Does he, Melanie, does he have to come to the planning board for that?
If what's happened, Doug, was there no access there and this was open from the retention pond down next to that property?
There was always a creek that ran from Plains.
Right,
It goes through, what's her name?
Carol Beers.
Karen Bemis.
yeah,
She's got a pond there.
right.
Then it runs down in front of the guy's house that's next to her. And then it goes down, and then there's a detention pond that takes the water that comes halfway down the hill and goes into this detention pond.
The retention pond was probably part of the stormwater management when this whole development was done, correct?
Right,
Is my guess?
yes.
Okay.
And there's two pipes in there that are like, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
And the detention
14,
pond.
16-inch pipes. There's one down here and one up here.
Mhm.
So when the water gets high, it goes out the first one, and it goes into that creek that comes down.
Right.
Through his property.
And if I remember correctly, he put himself a driveway in there.
He
He
put
put a culvert pipe in.
He put a culvert pipe in there, and
He gave
so
himself,
he could go mow his lawn
right,
on
and he
the
gave
other side.
himself pretty much a driveway through so basically, he's obstructing it. He's obstructing the outlet of the
But
retention
the whole
pond.
thing is, it's not town property, it's his property.
The outlet of the retention pond is not part of the town. I was told the
Detention
plans for
pond
the
is,
subdivision.
but where it comes out is on his property.
It runs through his property, that creek was always there. And the problem is that bend in that creek is
Okay.
alongside the road and it's washing
Well,
out.
I would say unless you're doing
Even
subdivision,
if he takes
or you're
that out,
building
that's-
something,
that
then
bend
it
is
would be
still gonna have
planning
to
board,
be
but
there.
to move
No, he's
dirt
gonna
on
fill
your
it
own
in.
property?
He's gonna take, from what
I
he
don't
told
know.
me the other day, he's gonna take and level it and push it back and then go from where the end of the culvert pipe is, where that creek comes down. He's gonna go straight out where that knoll is and go into what's there now.
I mean, I think we would have to check the zoning, but I don't know that there's anything in the zoning, you guys can
It's
correct
on
me if
his
I'm
property.
wrong, that if it's on somebody's property, we can't, planning board has no jurisdiction to say where he moves his dirt. I wouldn't think, I mean, I think we have a better line to know exactly what the
He's making
subdivision
it
plans.
straight, like where it comes out, now it's going through a culvert pipe, it's going this way, then it goes this way
Mhm.
and down.
I would like to see what the original subdivision plans, how they're drawn and where the town owns. And then you guys go forward and make the determination from there, because it may very well be his property, but I would like to see what those plans state, because again, it should have been all planned for when the subdivision was originally
But he
done.
went and filled the thing in
Well, that's the
and
problem,
put the culvert pipe in.
and that's the problem. And he can't have a driveway there. and I think, Gerard, that would be the piece where you have to look and say, legally, can the town do anything, because it's obstructing the retention pond outlet of that.
If he's violating the site plan, he's living in the hobby.
Right. So that, unfortunately, Doug, I think that's where you're gonna wind up, but that's where I would start, is looking at the plans.
Because there was riprap in there,
Mm-hmm,
but he went and put the culvert pipe in so he could mow on the other side of it.
right.
All right, well then, we'll have to dig that out and, we'll find out, get the plans out and, let the planning board take a look at it, and let the zoning board take a look at it. And you can determine what's gotta be done.
Actually, code enforcement should probably look at it, because
Yeah.
that's
Get
where you're
code
gonna,
enforcement to look
that's
at
your
it.
person.
Along with Nick, yeah. Nick.
And highway, yeah, sorry, Nick, you didn't mean to leave.
No, just to get the county's probably run into this type of thing other places and find out what they would do under that certain.
Well, originally, there was a question on who actually owned the property where the ditch was.
Right,
We thought that originally that we had a
There was
right
an
of way.
easement,
An easement, we
that's
did,
what we thought.
we didn't
It's
have
not.
nothing, so it's all on his property. I don't know how that ever happened.
well, it'll show on the plans,
Yeah,
so,
no,
start there.
All right, so we'll get that out and get to code enforcement and the zoning and planning, and we can take a look at it before we go any farther. I'll just hold up on it, we'll hold up on it and see
yeah,
what his plans are. We have to get involved in it.
I think
We
anything
certainly
he
can't have
does,
that ditch rotting, moving and having the water running out onto the road, especially next winter.
if he changes and creates a problem, he's gonna have to be responsible for it, fixing our road.
All right, anything else, Nick?
No, that's good, thanks.
Oh, they are going to do Overlook. County's gonna replace the culverts on Overlook Drive too. We were up there looking at that, and it's gonna be their responsibility.
They're doing real right by us on that. That would be a big expense on us, I'll tell you.
And they're gonna be closing, the tunnel up on South Kelly Road for, or Kelly Station Road for, repairs, water repairs.
Okay. And if we do have to pay the county $26,000, luckily, we're not doing any road work this year. So whatever we appropriated will help, that'll help a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I don't think you got a report from George, maybe?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, there was a report.
It's here.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's see, this is from the water district over here, gallons pumped, 1,409,300. Gallons per day, 45,460. Permits issued 0. Yearly water quality reports were produced and mailed to water users. Mark Carandi replaced copper piping on River Drive booster pumps. Preparing for annual reading of water meters, bills to be mailed in early July. Normal monitoring of water quality and usage, telephone calls, office work, plant inspections, required reporting performed. Is there any questions for George, even though he's not here? Any questions on his report? Okay. Code enforcement.
I got two things.
Yeah. I'll have to look for it. Total permits 1, permits issued 1, permit inspection fees collected $187.50, inspection 7, code zoning inspections 2, fire inspections 1, final building inspection 0, certificates of occupancy compliance 0, bank deposit report made June $187.50, check to supervisor account 0, checkbook balance as of June 11, 2019, $271.24. Activities and zoning, working on complaint as needed, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit final, inspection as needed, reviewing plans as needed. Tom's Verini, building inspector. Any questions on it?
Nope.
Okay. And Ben, our.
Yeah, it's another quiet month. No calls, no complaints. So, we're good.
Okay, is there any questions for Ben? Okay, thank you, Ben. And Court?
Do you have this? No.
Yeah, I've got both of them here. Where do I?
This is on the second page, I think, is her.
Second. What's this?
Yeah, second page, just gives you a rundown. The totals,
Yeah,
looks like the total fines were 26,000.
Yeah, I see that, no, it's the May one, that's what I was looking for, or the April one.
She gave you one, but she didn't get
We
it.
have that one, Steve?
She only gave you one.
She gave you one, but
The town
somehow
board
you
meeting,
didn't
May,
get it.
April, May. Over 50 cases without disposition of information regarding the criminal reporting. This is what finalized a case with regard to the defendant's criminal history, working on these and getting a few done a week, many open cases with some issues pertaining. Also working on these. I'm moving forward to change the filing system in the court, preparing a step-by-step process to give the court clerk. I feel we need better accountability for cases. I will be implementing this in the next month. Also, I need to have better access to the vault. I have no idea where tickets are, where the suspensions are, old disposed tickets. I believe they have been destroyed. Wonder if there's any accounting of what was destroyed and when. And the monthly report in May was $11,110. Town board meeting June, number of cases since 119 through 291, 291, just the one.
That's a June
Yeah.
report, yeah.
Total cases for May, 151, June, 155, 153 so far, working on bringing all cases up to date, still trying to return bail that wasn't returned after cases were disposed, about $1,500 still outstanding bail. We'll begin the process of revamping the filing system. Is there a record of any boxes of cases that were sent for destruction? Court is getting very busy, and Dawn is consistently busy, keeping track of how many hours she is working with the possible anticipation of adding needed hours in the fall. Okay. Sounds like the revenue has been going up on the court over the past few months, so that's a good thing.
These inquiries about her questions, where do we go for answers for that?
I don't know, that was the old, that was the previous judge, I'm assuming.
So she's asking if there's a record of any boxes of cases that were sent for destruction. I mean, I wouldn't have,
I wouldn't know.
as a town board
Sandy,
member,
would
I
you
would
know
have no
anything about
idea
that?
about that.
I do not.
How will we find out?
Aren't all records kept by the town clerk of what's in the vault? Isn't there an inventory of that?
No, Gerard, how will we find out?
Again, check with, Dawn should have an idea, she was there.
If that's done, I don't know if she would know. Who knows what went on prior? Well, we'll have to look into it then, I guess. We'll get together with Dawn,
She was there before, and she's there now.
and get a hold of Michelle and sit down with her and Dawn and see what we can do.
I don't know, that's really the town board's issue. So you're at the court, they need to solve their own problems. And if we can assist, that's fine, but this is a court.
Yeah, I have no idea where any of that stuff would be.
I'll get a hold of
Probably
Michelle.
on a
see-
computer like they always do.
Is there a computer somewhere stored?
All right.
Should I read that?
Something in connection with the court. which I don't
Yeah,
think
we are not, no.
Okay, the assessor, we don't have any report on. Buildings and grounds, they finished up the putting in the LED lighting at the pump house and pump station on Gifford Church Road. They're going to finish up the state police building. There's about 5 lights that weren't installed with LED lighting. That's gonna be done in the coming month. All of the LED lights are all around the building now. I'm pleased with that. We should be seeing a significant savings on our electric bill in the future. And I'm very pleased with it. They're gonna be redoing the parking lot lights, putting on flexible elbows so that they shine more into the parking lot. We're going to be eliminating the, as I said at the last meeting, we're gonna be eliminating the meter out on the gazebo. For those lights, and we're gonna run a line into the town hall to eliminate that. We're also paying for a light out, street light out there. We're gonna eliminate that if possible. I talked with Niagara or National Grid about it, and they said they would take it out anytime we want. I don't know, that light out on the street light out there, I don't know why we're paying for that now, but I don't think we should be. But anyway, that's what's going on. Their state police wants some work done on their processing room. We're gonna have, I think Doug Thorpe is going to, I just talked to or texted him today. He said he's going to be doing it. It's not gonna be an expensive job at all, just to move a desk around. Apparently the state does not want the room as it is because the bench is blocking. If somebody comes in, one of their bad guys is there and they can't get around apparently or something. They want it straightened out, so it's not a big issue for us. But he said he's gonna take care of it for us, and I appreciate that. Other than that, there's nothing else going on. Any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Meeting minutes. It is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of May 14, 2019 regular town board meeting are approved or as amended.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilmember Goldie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Acceptance of real property from County of Schenectady. It is hereby resolved that pursuant to Town Law, Section 64/8, the Town Board hereby accepts certain real property and any improvements thereon from the County of Schenectady described more particularly as SBL number 57.00/1/31.2 and 57.00/1/32, consisting of approximately 0.82 acres and 1.15 acres respectively. Said purpose is to allow the town of Princetown to utilize the real property for community events and any other purposes consistent with the law. We already discussed this. Is there any further discussion on it?
Just publicly like to thank the county for their generous contribution to the town of Princetown. We're gonna get a chance, I think, to address them. I think maybe next month. Is he coming here?
He said he was gonna come as soon as he gets the resolution. He'd like to meet with the town board to come in and so I can sign the deeds so they can be, I imagine, sent to the county after that, right? Yes, be recorded. So, like I said, he couldn't make it here tonight because they have a legislative meeting. So he's going to get a hold of us after we receive the resolution, if it's approved tonight, and the property will be ours. Any further discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Susan seconded.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Susan got it.
Sandy?
Councilmember Goldie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water operator appointment. We've talked about this before. George is needing some help over here. He's getting up in age and he really doesn't want to work the 7 days a week. He's got 2 helpers right now. One is, it's kind of hard for him to get around and do it. He has another job and he really needs some help and he wants some younger people in to help him with this. And he suggested that Preston Whiteley be appointed as a water operator. So, is there any discussion on this?
No.
Ideally, it would be nice if Preston would be able to attend some classes or do what he has to do maybe to get himself, you know,
Well, he would have to eventually over here, if George decides to, whenever he decides to retire, I'm sure. And we definitely need somebody,
need
he
somebody.
definitely needs help.
yeah, we need somebody in the pipeline
Take
Yes.
this
to think
over.
about, you know, because, you know, George may want to retire someday, and we can't be left without those positions ready to go. I've tried talking to people that have retired from these businesses, and nobody wants to work, and, you know, if we can encourage somebody and kind of groom somebody into this, that would be, I think, a good idea.
Well, apparently George has been talking with him, he likes him, and
I'll make
he
the
said he's
motion.
energetic and
He wants to do it, and
he wants to work part-time. He does have another job, he works for the Thruway, but he's available after his evenings, afternoons, late afternoons and evenings, and on the weekends. Unless the bad weather comes along and he's out on the road, I'm assuming. But I think it's a good appointment, and we've got some younger person that's in the pipeline that could possibly be able to take over at some time. And George does not want to work 7 days a week anymore. He'd like to have weekends off, if possible, sometimes. Not all the time, but if he wants a day off on a Saturday or a Sunday where they can actually do something, he'd like to be able to do that. So I think it's a good idea, get somebody younger into the pipeline and get them trained.
yeah,
I'll make
So-
the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Sandy? Only read the
Councilmember
resolution
Goldie?
first.
Oh,
Hereby resolved that Preston Wheatley is appointed as a water operator at the rate of $18.27 per hour, term to expire 12/31/19. Is there a motion?
Doug, you made it.
I mean,
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Councilman Gray?
yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. LED light installation for water facilities. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the installation of LED lighting at the water building sites on Duanesburg Road and Gifford Church Road. The total cost is not to exceed $2,051.09. The supervisor is approved to sign the contract with National Grid. We're getting a grant on that, so it's not the total cost. It's gonna be pretty minimal from what I understand, so. But, the work has been completed. So,
This is what you said you went up, right?
pardon?
This is what just went up, right?
Yeah, they already did the work. It's on, Gifford Church Roads and.
Okay.
And, this was, we talked about it at the last meeting. We discussed it, so. Do we need approval?
I would say so.
Okay. All right, is there any further discussion on it? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. General funds claims is hereby resolved, the town board approves claims number 105 through 125 in the amount of $32,453.79. Discussion? Is there a
I make the
motion?
Motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claim, that hereby resolved, the town board approves claims number 47 through number 57 in the amount of $4,694.76. Discussion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Trust and agency claim, it is hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 3 in the amount of $42 for the solar project attorney. This comes out of the escrow account. Any discussion? Sandy? Or, is there a motion?
I'll make it.
A second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilmember Delory,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Yes, council member comments and discussion. I'd like to start it off. We've discussed this before at different meetings. I think it's time over here that we have a planner. We've got a resume from Melanie Wheatley. She was our town supervisor at one point. She's been on our town board at different times. She has a degree. She's finished her college education, and I guess she's a social worker now, I'm assuming. So, and she would like to see if she could handle become a planner for the town. We did have a planner that we had a set salary for. This is for discussion only at this time, and I'll open up the floor for discussion on it for the board. If you got any questions about it, maybe we could have some questions for Melanie while she's here.
We need a planner because we need a clear flow chart for when people come into town and want to do anything. We can't have people coming into town and hitting a wall of confusion. Everybody tries to do their best, I understand that, but you really have to have a flow chart that goes from A to B to C to D, so people understand what they have to do, who they have to see, and a planner can facilitate that to some degree at least. And that's important, because right now, somebody wants to do a project in town, and unfortunately, they're confused. They don't know really who to talk to first, where to start. We really do need that type of flow chart. So we're not gonna get it without a planner, so I think we're moving in the right direction. I mean, the town of Princetown still has a lot of vacant land, a lot of potential for growth and building. We have a water system which will facilitate growth and building. We really need to make it reasonable, simple, and logical for people who want to come into town. I just don't want to have people come into town hoping to do a project, being excited about coming to Princetown, coming into town and then getting confused and having difficulty. So we can make things much easier by going down that road, and I think it makes good sense.
I know it's a problem for the planning board. They do have a problem because, like I said, the applicants have nobody to turn to at any time to, just what Jim said, to where to start and what they need before they even go to the planning board. So, and this is an opportunity to have someone here to do it. Like I said, Melanie has been a supervisor and she's been on the town board for a good number of years. So she's willing to step up to the plate. And this is just for discussion at this meeting only. We do have her resume. If we do have any questions, I know she don't want to answer any now, but
No, I was just we're in a public forum, and you should discuss the
we'll discuss
position.
it in private.
And I'm happy to interview with the board, and then you could ask me questions at another date. But
Are we gonna come up with a salary and what the position's gonna be, and are we
Well,
gonna
that would be
run an
discussed
ad?
at when we sit down and do this. Like I say, this is only for food for thought now. We have her resume, and we can discuss it at the next meeting. I just wanted to bring it up to everybody's attention right now. So, it can be discussed. Gerard has been after me for a long time now to get a planner. I know that. He says every town has one, and we should have one. It makes things a lot easier.
That was a good idea. Jim kind of covered everything I thought, but seeing people come into the planning board and stuff, they don't know where to start, and they go to the zoning, then they get told you have to go back to planning, and then, it gets very confusing with the applicant. And they get frustrated, and it's just, I think having a planner is gonna make things run a lot smoothly.
I mean, everybody knows that Princetown's a friendly town, and a nice place to live and all that stuff, and then they come in town and they get, I've seen this more than once, so I know this is what happens, and, you know, we really don't want to start our new neighbors and our new folks in that direction. It's like going down to the DMV and saying, yeah, I want to register this trailer, but nobody really knows what line for you to go in. It's just not a good way to start the process. We've got to streamline this process and make it simple, and I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Over the past year, we passed numerous resolutions changing on what is going to be done, like no more outside water use other than Princetown residents, because of the problems we've had in this last one. So we're, we did change things about not accepting any more roads. A planner could, if somebody comes in and wants to do a development or put in another road, planner could discuss this with them and tell them what exactly has got to be done. And that these are the things that the town boards are, especially with the solar laws we have now in effect too. So we do have different solar companies that come in over here. We got two that are planning some very large solar arrays that they're going to be placing, I'm assuming over here in the near future. And they'll be, a planner can tell them what the procedure's gonna be, what's required, so it would be a lot easier before they go to the planning board. And plus the fact that you would be able to tell them that that the town board has passed a resolution to, that there would be a host agreement for any large developments, not home developments, not home solars, but large developments like this. That there'd be a host agreement, has to be done, negotiated with the town. So planner can take care of that too, before they go to the planning board and find out all this information. And like I say, it does streamline it, so. This is just food for thought at this time. We can discuss it next time, and we can interview the applicant and see exactly what the pay would be and how many hours would have to go into it. And we can discuss that maybe at the next meeting or prior to the next meeting. We can interview the applicant.
Sounds good.
Okay? All right, Doug, got anything? Nick?
Fine. Oh, the only thing I was wondering, are we gonna cut the lawn on the new property we acquired?
Yeah, well, yes, when, after Doug brush hogs it, then we're gonna have it's gonna be taken care of.
Okay.
So, then we can mow it down, keep it down like we did when the wall was here. So that'd be, if you don't mind, Doug.
No problem. But you gotta do it when it's dry, or else you're gonna rut it all up. Right now, you're not gonna do it.
Eventually, it's gotta dry out.
Hopefully.
Not this year.
Jim, you got anything?
No, just that we do, I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but we do have a few dollars set aside in our park fund. I don't know if in the future, and some of that money will be able to be used to maybe help us maintain that property over there or whatever, but I think that's gonna be a nice addition to the town of Princetown, having that property. And I think going forward, it would be nice if we could do something with it. We'll see as time goes on, but fortunately, we do have a few pennies stashed away in our park fund, which is nice to know.
Anything else?
That's
Sue,
it for me.
you have anything? I'd just like to thank Schenectady County for their generous donation to the town of Princetown. I think we'll send them a formal letter thanking them. And I think that when they come to give us the transfer of the deeds, I'll let everybody know, and we'll have the town board present. Of course, we'll have to post that, wouldn't we? And if we're all gonna be here, it's gonna have to be posted, so,
We'll do that at a regular town board meeting.
well, we can do that.
But that's the county's meeting that night, isn't it?
Yes, it is, that's the
That's-
problem.
that's the
Yeah,
only
it's a county-
conflict.
It's a
County
county
meets
meeting.
on the same night we meet.
That's the problem. Because Tony would have been here tonight, but he couldn't make it, he didn't have anybody to fill in for him, they had 2 public hearings, he said, because he was gonna come and present the deeds to us, but he couldn't make it because of the county meetings. It was on the same night as our meeting, so it has to be on a different night.
So change our meeting to a different night when you know he can come.
Can we do that? Yeah, maybe we'll do that, do it on a Wednesday then, like meeting, or a Monday night, whichever available. What night is available for anybody? A Monday or a Wednesday?
No, court's Wednesday.
No, Wednesday, that's true too, it's gonna have to be on Monday.
That's fine.
All right. We'll
If
do
we
it on
make the
Monday.
property look real good, it'll be a good place for the trucks to turn around.
Oh, geez, don't even go there.
More fence. We need more fence out there.
Don't blow by our house.
There is one other thing before we call it a night here. I'd just like to address Paul's concern. I stated at the last meeting, I talked with the county about this already. And speaking with the county about it, the head of the county over here on Keller Avenue, he told me that in order to do this, you just can't post a road. You have to have an alternative route for it. You just can't say we're gonna post a road without having an alternative route to do this that makes sense. He says you just can't say we're gonna run all of the trucks through Rotterdam and out through Gilboa Avenue or out another road up through 146. He says you have to have an alternative route. He says we can't post the road anyway because this has to be approved by the state. First, it's a state road at the end, which is 406, which is Gifford Church Road. That's a state road. And the county cannot post the county road unless the state approves it. And the last time we asked the state to reduce the speed limit on Route 7 from 55 to 40, we passed a resolution to do it, and they refused to. We've got the letter in the files over here. It took 6 months for them to refuse to do it. The second one we did was for Quackenbush Road. We asked that the speed limit be reduced on that. We haven't heard anything on that yet. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, this is gonna be a long, drawn-out process and it's gonna be ultimately up to the state whether they're interested in posting the road or not. And I don't really believe that the county's gonna have much of a say in it. It's gonna probably be the state that's gonna, since they control everything. I don't know why they have to, that the state can tell the county that, but that's what I'm told.
Well, the sheriff certainly can patrol that area, as can the state police. They don't require any state or county jurisdiction for that, and that may at least begin to give us some control over there. I don't know, I mean.
If I could speak.
Sure, go ahead, Paul.
They brought out a speed wagon last summer, put it on the corner, probably you saw it, anybody
Yeah.
went down. Sheriff D'Agostino was very kind in doing that, and it helped at the point when our vegetable stand was open. And that's my big fear, is somebody's gonna get killed when we're open. I mean, that's a straightaway, you can see both ways, but nobody pays any attention, they just blow through there now. So that starts the 3rd week of July. And I don't expect they'll put the speed wagon again, but I know some of them tried to see how high they could make the number when they went by, but it wasn't all of them.
Well, I know you've been here a lot in the town, we've been here 30, 40 years, and you've been here all your life, as Doug
This
and
is,
Nick.
it's never
And
been.
there was a time you never saw a car on Pangburn Road.
No.
And when we moved here, you could walk, now you can't even walk across the road to get the mail.
And it's the inventive GPS.
and the routing of it, and, but again, the concern is the number of people that are walking and riding bikes. It's, the more homes that are built, and there are many more than there were 5 years ago, I'm just terrified somebody's really gonna get hurt. You know, unfortunately, the state thinks that's what you have to do, is kill somebody before they'll do anything. But, like I
I
said,
gotta say, the state police sit in the churchyard over there, but the only time they come there is in the afternoon. They gotta come there like
Sunday
10
afternoon.
o'clock in the morning, when, on a Sunday, when they go over with a crotch rockets at 100 miles an hour past my house. I'm not kidding you, 100 miles an hour.
Our house too.
You don't
And
have-
there's a car goes by every morning about 10 o'clock, it's black, and that thing, if it's not going 100 miles an hour past my house, comes up Quackenbush Road, and it's right to the floor.
Just let them know at that time, and I'm sure that.
Someday I'll pull a hay wagon out and let them run into it. Really, it's the truth. You won't believe it. 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, the crotch rockets go by my house, there's probably 6 of them. Not Harleys, crotch rockets.
All right, I guess, anything else?
The only alternate route would be Dunstable Road on that situation.
Yeah, and that's the same thing there.
It's worse, you got a lot of turns in it.
Yeah.
So there's no other way to go across.
No.
Okay, is there anything else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Sandy?
Councilmember Goldie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Sue?
Yes. Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. And we'll see you next month.